After 10,000 hours working in psychiatric hospitals and running group therapy, I've discovered a hidden factor that determines whether your workplace heals or quietly destroys your mental health. It's called psychological safety. If you've ever felt anxious, silenced, or even physically sick at work, this video could change how you see your job forever. I'm James. I'm a registered occupational therapist. Today we're going to take a dive into psychological safety. I'm going to talk about what I've learned from people doing group therapy and telling me their experiences at work, and also sharing a little bit about my own lived experience to gain some perspective about what a toxic culture can do to your mental health. I'll cover what psychosocial safety means, the hidden outcomes, including moral injury and practical steps to help your mental health. What is psychological safety? Psychological safety is a belief that you can speak up, ask questions, make mistakes, and be yourself at work without feeling like you might be humiliated or punished. But here's what most business books miss. It's not just about team performance, it's about your nervous system. When psychological safety is missing, your brain stays in threat mode. You're constantly scanning for danger, walking on eggshells, and your body is flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. In my group therapy sessions, I've seen people develop anxiety, depression, or even physical symptoms like headaches or digestive problems, all from working in environments that felt unsafe. Your workplace doesn't just affect your career, it literally rewires your brain and body. From my clinical work, psychological safety rests on 4 key pillars. Number 1, permission to learn. Can you ask questions without being made to feel stupid? In unsafe workplaces, people pretend to understand everything, which leads to mistakes and burnout. Number 2, permission to contribute. Do your ideas matter? Are you able to input into group process? Are you able to talk to your team members openly? Can you share your perspective? I've seen brilliant people in group therapy be absolutely crushed by the people that they work with in terms of psychological safety. They're not able to speak up, they're not able to say their point of view, and they generally get treated really badly, and they might always be dismissed. Number 3, permission to challenge. Can you respectfully disagree with your boss? Or perhaps does your boss make you feel inadequate or like you've done something wrong? If you're constantly feeling as though you're under threat when you speak to your boss, or that you might lose your job, or that you've done something wrong, that's a pretty good sign that something's not right. In my own experience in dealing with toxic workplaces, it's not possible to challenge ideas. Firstly, they're not received well, or if they're even heard at all, none of the ideas will be put into place. And then what happens is one idea that might not be a positive idea compounds into more and more bad choices that the business ends up taking over time. In other words, bad decisions multiply. Number 4, permission to make mistakes. Are errors treated as learning opportunities or as reasons to be punished? When people are terrified of making mistakes, they hide their problems, which only makes things worse. When psychological safety is absent, the outcomes go far beyond just stress. In group therapy, I've seen 5 major patterns. Number 1, learnt helplessness. People stop trying to improve things because they've been shut down so many times. They've become passive and disengaged. Number 2, hypervigilance. Constantly scanning for threats, analysing every email, every look in a meeting. It's absolutely exhausting. Number 3, imposter syndrome. If you can't be authentic, you start to believe you don't belong anywhere. I've worked with incredibly competent people who always felt like they were frauds. Number 4, moral distress. Knowing the right thing to do, but feeling powerless to act. Like seeing a colleague bullied, but fearing your own job if you speak up. Number 5, moral injury. This is the big one, almost no one talks about. Moral injury happens when you're forced to act against your own core values or witness others doing so. It's not just stress or burnout, it's a wound to your sense of integrity and purpose. and then people often start to question their own sense of self. For example, I've worked with people that have been constantly pushed against their own value system, and it starts to really lead to them questioning who they are, and they feel like they're not the same person anymore. They question their whole identity. Each compromise chips away at who you are. What I've learnt from group therapy is that healing happens when people realise that they're not alone and they're not crazy. I use an exercise called values mapping. People identify their core values and map out where their workplace asks them to compromise their values. The relief when they realise their distress makes sense is profound. Another technique is called collective witnessing. Group members share their stories of workplace harm, and others simply reflect back to them what they heard. No advice, no fixing, just validation. The group becomes what their workplace never was, a psychologically safe space where their experiences are seen and their voice matters. Is your workplace safe? Let's do a quick gut check assessment, because your body often knows before your mind does. Physical signs. Do you feel tense walking into work? Get Sunday night dread? Do you hold your breath in a meeting? Behavioural signs. Do you rehearse conversations over and over? Do you avoid people or certain topics? Do you agree with things that you don't believe? Emotional signs. Do you feel dread, resentment, or numbness about work, like you're wearing a mask all day? Or come home exhausted even on easy days? Here are 3 key questions. If you made a mistake, would you feel safe admitting it to your supervisor? Number 2, can you express disagreement without fear of retaliation? Number 3, can you be authentic or your real self at work? If you answered no to any of these, you might be in a psychologically unsafe environment. Much of the time, that won't be your fault. It's a system problem. If you've contributed to the problem yourself, perhaps if you can reflect on that, there might be some scope to understand what elements of the environment have made it unsafe. So what do you do if you're in a psychologically unsafe workplace? Here's what I've learned from both my clinical work and personal experience. Number 1, validate your experience. You're not too sensitive. Psychological unsafety causes real harm. In group therapy, the first step is always acknowledging the wound is real. Find your people, trusted colleagues, friends, family, or a therapist. Spaces where you can be honest about your experience. Isolation makes everything worse. Document everything. Keep records of incidents, emails, and conversations. This isn't just to be paranoid, this is to make sure that if you ever need to go back over the material, you've got it available for you. Here's what I want you to know if you're struggling in a psychologically unsafe workplace. You're not broken. Your distress is a normal response to an abnormal environment. In group therapy, I've watched people heal from years of workplace trauma, rebuild their confidence, reconnect with their values, and even find work where they can thrive. Healing is absolutely possible, and you don't have to do it alone. Your mental health matters, your values matter, your voice matters, and you deserve a workplace that honours all 3. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Have you experienced psychological unsafety at work? What helped you cope, or what are you still struggling with? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you want me to dive deeper into any of these topics, especially moral injury, which I only touched on today, let me know. I'm planning to follow up with other videos based on questions and experiences. Don't forget to subscribe for more real talk about workplace mental health, mindfulness, and practical strategies from both lived and clinical experience. And if you know someone who's struggling at work, please share this video. It might make all the difference. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.